A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadan Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Madhi ya Sayyidi ya Rasul Kareem ya Habib Nazim unzur halana wa ishfalana wa abiduna bi madadakum wa nazarikum. Madhi ya Sayyidi ya Sultan al-Awliya ma sha Abdul Faiz al-Dagestani. Madhi ya Sayyidi ya Sultan al-Awliya ma sha Muhammad Nazim azan Haqqani. Madhi ya Sayyidi ya Mawlana Shaykh Hisham Kabani unzur halana wa ishfalana wa abiduna bi madadakum. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Allah's rahmah and mercy be upon us. And ana abdukul ajis wa da'if wa miskeen wa zalim wa jahal. And but for the grace of Allah that we are in existence, that nothing from our side of anything other than taking a path in which Allah inspired us to negate yourself. And I address you from my rahmah, negate yourself, and every horizon can open within the heart of the believer as much as they encourage themselves and give to themselves and recognize the self, which is the nafs and the ego, as much as that going to block us from the Divinely Presence. Alhamdulillah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Atiyallah, Atiya Rasul wa ulul amri minkum. A reminder for myself from Mawlana Shaykh's teachings, Mawlana Shaykh Hisham's teachings, that they are the walking hadiths, and that awliyAllah are walking hadiths of Sayyidina Muhammad. As Nabi al-Kareem, Habib al-Azim, Sayyidina Muhammad is walking Qur'an, and walking literal walking Qur'an, that awliyAllah, Prophet dressing them to be walking hadiths. Because Atiyullah is wa Atiya Rasul means in the order of who can obey Allah. Nobody can obey Allah except Atiya Rasul, is that Prophet and is a manifestation of the uncreated words of Holy Qur'an. Means the only one who can obey Allah is Sayyidina Muhammad. And who can obey Sayyidina Muhammad ulul amri minkum are the ulul amr. They are in obedience to Prophet which is in obedience to Allah. Means then perfects their understanding in which Allah wants. Don't think you are obeying me, that all the Prophets were not able to obey me. Allah's might and majesty can only be obeyed by Sayyidina Muhammad. We're all coming with an imitation of obedience, and those that are achieving that imitation is that when they imitated Sayyidina Muhammad with the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, then that obedience is being dressed, and the intercession of Prophet is dressing them where they are falling short, forgiving them, perfecting them and presenting them to Divine Presence. From their walking hadith, they're making every hadith to be dressed upon us and achieved upon the soul, that when the holy hadith of Allah giving to Prophet that when they approach me through their voluntary worship, that I become their hearing, I become the seeing of the servant, I become the hands of the servant, I become the feet of the servant, I become the speech of the servant. So much so that that servant become Rabbaniyun, means a very lordly reality of their soul, and they have power of kun fayakun. And outside may read that hadith and be baffled by it, not truly understanding it, that this is a dress of Sayyidina Muhammad, that Allah's most perfected servant, Allah describing because of the humility of Prophet, that when you approach through voluntary worship means you enter through the oceans of muhabbat. I'm going to now describe for you the reality of Prophet, because everybody reads the hadith thinking of themselves, oh maybe Ya Rabbi I can reach towards voluntary worship. But this is a description of Prophet first, that Allah describing the one who is the most beloved in my Divinely Presence, the one who approached with that love, that perfection, I'm going to now describe that he hears with my hearing. Not that I gave him ears, because ears is from the form, the world of form. That what Allah what the Divine is giving to us is, do you want to achieve a lofty reality upon your soul? So then people say, what's my purpose in life? To worship. We were given a time to come onto this earth to worship, and then they define everything is going to be a worshipness, whether it's a good worship or bad acts. Everything is based on worshipness, so that what? To achieve these lofty realities of the soul. Allah wants to give us an eternal dress by placing us on this material world. Means you have to be tested, perfected, and I want to give you an eternal dress of hearing. That you hear through my Divinely hearing. This is not given to any other creation. They don't hear with Divinely hearing. We hear only through our ear right now. And they found that each sense actually has two. There's a hearing and there's an inner hearing through your soul. But insan is more like haywan, more like animalistic reality, and they're not achieving what Allah wanted for them. So it means then awliyAllah hold the reality of these holy hadiths, that they are walking of that reality, they achieve that reality, Allah dressed them from that reality. Their majlis and their associations are dressing people from these lights so that they can achieve. So when Allah is describing, I be your hearing, means the faculty of your hearing through your soul. So there must be a system in which to test and perfect people's hearing. That's why our way is samina wa ata'na. I heard and I obeyed. But who's going to achieve that if you're just going for Jummah? What would Jummah open of that reality? So people, their Islam now is, and the masjids are now only for Jummah. They go Jummah and then they go home. Well, how did you achieve samina wa ata'na in Jummah? By listening to the khutbah? That was it? You achieved samina? Say, yeah, I heard the khutbah. Most likely now 90% of the khutbahs are political. So this is not samina wa ata'na, I mean this is the ocean of ihtiba, of obedience. When Allah is saying, then follow the ulul am, wa qulu ma sadiqeen, keep the company of sadiqeen, means your whole life be with them. When you're with them you're going to begin to have to listen to them, because as soon as you accompany them they begin to give their teachings, they begin to give their teachings. By accompanying them, because then the whole system is going to, all these faculties Allah describing, these awliyAllah are going to come and begin to grab them. So by sitting in their association, by listening to their teachings, you're not going to like a lot of it, you may like some of it, it's going to begin to agitate the nafs and agitate all the bad characteristics, and that's exactly what Allah wants. That I want you to approach through voluntary worshipping, I'll be your hearing in which you hear. The hearing that you're hearing now with is from your own desires. You hear what you like it, you hear what you don't like it, and you leave. This is not going to open Allah's Divinely attribute upon the ears. Means that attribute to open is going to be through all the testing, all the crushing, and constantly want to keep teaching people about themselves so that they don't think they are that high level. To realize you are at the lowest level. The fact that you hear and you get angry means you're no different than the animal kingdom. If you go and talk badly to a dog now, what he's going to do? He's going to try to bite you. Go and agitate a creature from the jungle, they bite you. Insan from paradise realities, then all these teachings they're teaching. That no, Allah want you to have khuluqul azim, best of character. Sticks and stones may break my bones, what's the rent? But the words may never harm me? Well, that's an English, Canadian don't have that proverb. Means whatever people say, who cares? It shouldn't be affecting your heart. That your heart has to have istiqam and firmness in your belief, firmness in your love, and the love never moves, and they're looking, they say everything, they know every button on you, and they look, you become cuckoo. If you're in cuckoo, you're still haywan. If everything they say that nothing changes you in the ocean of love, means then everything has to be tested. Why? This is the faculty of hearing, is what you hear is going to affect your emotions. How Allah going to open for you hearing if you can't pass the animal kingdom? You hear, you get angry, okay, no different than animal, you're not from heavenly reality. You have to be able to hear and nothing moves your heart. So these words don't move your heart, you're firm in your love for Allah and Sayyidina Muhammad. When that firmness is coming, then they're beginning to teach. That's why I said that all of this going to describe, this is not from your salah, because the first hadith of Imam Nawawi was intention, kullu amalun binniyat. All the amal is going to require a court of law for your intention. Put that aside and do those things because Allah ordered them, those are mandatory. The fard is not going to open this because the hadith is about voluntary worshipness, not mandatory worshipness. So the fard is the fard, you have to do it. Now this is the reality of voluntary worshipness, this is the reality of the sunnah, this is the reality of love, this is the reality of doing actions that are not mandatory upon us, but we are doing them as a sense of love and as a showing of love. Why do you drive all this way and come to the center? There's nobody paying anybody, but it's to show Allah be merciful upon me ya Rabbi, that grant me your love, grant me your forgiveness, save myself and my family. You don't know what you have to be praying for. You think everything's okay because you're in oceans of barakah. But everything that you've been inspired to do, to hear and to come, you heard the call of Allah and you samina labbaik Allahumma labbaik, I heard the call ya Rabbi and I'm coming, samina wa ahtana. By answering that call, how many difficulties are going away from your life? By just driving here tonight and come to mention Allah, what that dress is doing upon the soul. What is it taking away from difficulty? Because Allah not showing us the Divine, the map, what's happening. How many lights are opening upon the soul, how many difficulties been taken away from ourselves. And when you think beyond yourself, when a shaykh cries, some crazy people on the internet may think that shaykh got a lot of problems, why he cries so much? Because we talk and then at the end of the talk people will come and say, you have a lot of problems, why are you always crying? What can I pray for you? I'm not crying for myself, I'm crying for myself too. But the majority of the crying is that what we've been put responsible for, that Allah sent people on the floor and on there, that you're responsible for them. This is a trust for you, this is a trust from Sayyidina Muhammad, this is a trust from your shaykh. That you want to manage things, I'm going to give you things that you can't imagine, the preciousness of their souls. You're responsible for them. They're not achieving what they were supposed to achieve. If now in these difficulty bala begin to come to them, how are you going to answer to Sayyidina Muhammad that their children were lost, their families were destroyed, their rizq was crushed? No. So then Allah say, I'm looking to you, start making a pleading and start making a du'a. Prophet I'm looking to you, you pray for them, you ask for them. And then they begin to cry as they see the difficulty coming. And when they're crying, Ya Rabbi that these tears that you have to send a najat and a help for us, we're not making it. Through your rahmah, send a rahmah. Many awliya'Allah come and then Allah will send the malaika, that they're not completing the ibadah but they're crying and asking forgiveness, Ya Rabbi. And Allah order at that time malaika to come and to complete their ibadah so that they achieve. But somebody has to be asking, somebody who's responsible, Sultanan Nasira, somebody who achieved a responsibility in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad must be asking. So then they begin to cry and cry, not only cry on the camera, cry more at home. But what they're responsible for, how to achieve that responsibility, because these are from Ibadur Rahman whom Allah is describing all their faculties. They hear from that hearing, they see from that seeing, they speak from that reality. Their hands is completed. Now we're only on the hearing. That when they want to open this faculty of hearing, then there must be accompanying these shaykhs. They must be accompanying one of these servants, Ibadur Rahman, whom Allah opened the safats upon them. When they are accompanying that servant, then they're beginning to open the locks upon the ear. Every time they hear an advice and they follow it, a lock is being, like a safe, is clicked. They hear the advice and they follow, click. They hear the advice. So then imagine the difference in that student versus somebody who's not in that school of tarbiyah. Their ear never opens. How is it going to open? Except through exception, in which Allah guides through hardship. We're talking of the rules of tariqah, not the exception. The rule is that when Allah wants to open the servant to that reality, He inspired the servant, sit with one of these Ibadur Rahman. There are guides and murshids. The Naqshbandiyya murid is only the murshids of the tariqah. Everybody else is muhibbeen. Naqshbandiyya has no murids. The murid and the level of entry into murid means that they achieve to be a murshid in the Naqshbandiyya tariqah, and they have to have ijazah from their shaykhs that say that, no, this is a shaykh now. That one is a murid of the tariqah. All the other 10 million people are muhibbeen, are lovers. They're trying to achieve to be from Ibadur Rahman, from Ibadullah, from Rijalullah, that Allah to open their faculties for them. So then they accompanied these guides, and all their testing, all their teaching is working on the ears and everything. They say, make a flyer, you make a flyer. They say, clean the floor, you clean the floor. They do this, do that. Whatever you're doing, whatever you think it to be small, it may be huge in opening the secret of your ears. We said before that the guidance is not coming, oh please read Surah Yasin and tell me this verse and let's pull the secrets from it. No, tell you, can you please get a pizza for us and don't put any mushroom? And then you become angry, you go out and say, why did He send me to do such a remedial and embarrassing and bad thing? I don't want to do that thing, I don't want to give in. They come back with a bad pizza. That one is locked on their ears and crazy and sick. Means that this way is based on hearing, following, and keep your heart with that love. Don't move your heart for a moment. Allah is observing, Prophet observing. When the lock begin to open on the hearing, then they begin to work and train you, because these are again Ibadur Rahman. Who's going to be training people? That you want your firasa, you want your eyes to open. These physical eyes will never open unless you take a path with them and they teach you tafakkur and contemplation. So then again, how many centers in the world are teaching people tafakkur and contemplation? Then how are they going to achieve this hadith? How are they going to achieve this reality? The eyes of the servant don't open in the market and in the grocery store. Means these are the servants who are the people of tafakkur, and Allah throughout Qur'an saying, nobody understands these realities except the people of tafakkur. Means these ulama, these awliya who contemplate, Allah opens all realities into their heart. So it means they took a path of tafakkur, continuous. So tafakkur, meditation. One, you be trained by your ears, constantly have to be trained. In this world nobody wants to hear anybody anymore, they want to only listen to themselves. When they're able to begin to achieve to listen, the lock begins to come off. Then they're training simultaneously that all your life meditate and contemplate. Sit at home and make your tafakkur at night right before you sleep, or right at the fajr time, whenever you have a moment when you get home from work after asr time. Put salawats, put Qur'an, confine yourself into a space, or even put headphones and meditate and contemplate. That, my Lord, I want my eyes to open, and it's not these eyes, it's going to be simultaneous. Because if you're not listening, there's no way this is opening. If you're crazy and not listening, whatever you see with your eyes is imagination and the jinn playing with you. This way is based on the heart. There's nothing from these eyes that are going to open. The eyes that open is the eyes of sincerity. The eyes of the quloob, Baytullah, qalb al-mu'min Baytullah, means Allah must be in the heart of that servant. That heart is sincere, that heart is pak and clean. When that heart is clean, the servant is making tafakkur not through the head. They don't sit and try to see through their eyes if there's any jinn moving in the room, but they see through their soul that, Ya Rabbi, through my soul, that my soul always in your Divinely Presence, my soul with all the Prophets. Where are the Prophets in the heavens? Do they have like separate rooms because they have egos? And they say, you go over there, yeah you're from the desert, we're from Europe, we're over here. There's an ocean, there's one ocean of light. All the souls in that ocean of light, in their majestic realities and majestic thrones, your soul in those oceans. As soon as you close the physicality that is not this donkey I'm interested in, Ya Rabbi I'm trying to shut everything down and then begin to teach and to train you, then open your soul, and through the door of your heart your soul is already there. In a blink of a second you can witness what Allah wants you to witness. It's light. If Allah gives a permission, look like if you have a dream. See, I better know what He's talking about. And keep praying that you go home at night and Allah give you a dream. And many people have beatific dreams of Prophet ahlul bayt al-Nabi, ashab al-Nabi. How you saw that in a dream? Your nafs got out of the way and the soul was free to witness what Allah wanted it to witness. That's what they're talking about. In living time, you don't have to be asleep, you have to only put oppressors to sleep. Because the nafs is so big, you have to put it to sleep until you can witness. What they're asking for, no, is kill that oppressor now, figurative, not exact. Means destroy the oppressor within the self, and as soon as you meditate as if you're in a sleeping state, everything is slowing down like a state of death. That you're not wanting anything, you're nothing. Your ears have been listening so much, your desires are crushing, and then they begin to open the reality, I will be the seeing that my servant sees with. Means He opens the soul, Allah, because these people are trainers. Train them not to rely on their physical eye, and I'll open the eye of their soul. And then they begin to be trained that I'm nothing. I'm listening. As I'm listening to this shaykh or listening to someone, I'm actually effacing myself, I bring myself down. Because everybody wants to follow their own opinion, their own self, the nafs that became the king upon their heart. As soon as you listen, it's a fight now with the shaykh and that king. It's like Lord of the Rings. So Gandalf came to the fake king, he said, you're not the king, you are merely the steward, the guardian of this throne, get out. The owner of this throne is God Almighty for everyone's heart. But the ego sitting on that said, no, I'm ruling this place. So then the shaykh's duty to come in and begin to fight with that one. Say, get off that chair, this is for Allah. So then that tafakkur begin to open the eyes and the reality of the eyes. If they open hearing and they begin to open the eyes, then only the turuqs come, especially in this day and age, and say, now take the hand. If you don't have the hand of the shaykh, you're not completing the bayah. That Allah saying that, my hand is upon their hand in Surah Al-Fath, 48th surah of Holy Qur'an. And this is the surah which names the name of Sayyidina Muhammad, is that there has to be a bayah, there has to be a hand-to-hand connection, because Allah described in the Hadith, I'll be the hands in which they hold. Why? My yad, my power and qudra will be flowing onto their hands. How the power of Allah going to flow onto your hands? Just by going to Jummah? By doing what? How Allah going to send power onto my hands? My hands have to submit back to what Allah wanted from me. Put your hand on their hand, my hand already upon them. Their hand, Tabarakalladhi biyadihi mulk. Allah said their hand has tabarak in Holy Qur'an, Surah Al-Mulk. Surah Al-Mulk describes their hand is filled with blessings, because their hand is on the hand of their shaykh, their hand of the shaykh is upon the hand of Sayyidina Muhammad. It's connected to Prophet. If their hand with Prophet, imagine then Allah's majesty and power on that hand. Means then their hands have Allah's qudra, their hands have power. When they make du'a, they activate all those realities. So many realities, but people don't accept that now. But how will that be completed and that hadith to be achieved upon a servant if their hand is with no one? Because Allah in Surah Al-Tawbah of this month describes that bay'ah, that allegiance that you take is a means in which to accomplish your covenant with God. You made a covenant on the day of promises, I'm going to send you to earth, you're going to do the following things and you're going to be returning back to me. And we said, Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Haqq. And Prophet was there and we said, Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Haqq to Sayyidina Muhammad and the ulul am, the awliya who would be destined to be in our lives. Nothing random. Allah's not sitting up there and said, today I'm calling you to be with Him. It was qadeem, it was already partitioned in the world of light. There's nothing random for Allah. Everything is already programmed. So on that day you said, Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Haqq and accepted. That's why they said that Prophet you can do many things wrong but you cannot be a liar. What lie they're talking about? The physical dunya lie or the lie of what we took as an oath to Allah. We promised to Allah, we promised to Prophet and we promised to awliyAllah, and that is Islam, submission. Means they completed their covenant only by that hand. If your hand with no one and your hand is allegiance to no one, not to Allah not to Sayyidina Muhammad and you don't accept any ulul am on this earth, then how are you going to complete your allegiance? How are you going to complete your bay'ah, your ahad and your covenant? That you sent me on this earth to be alone? Allah said, no. I sent you to be in their hands and to complete your covenant and to be dressed by this hadith. Your ears want to open, your eyes want to open, your hand has to be on their hand so that that dress can come upon your hand. When you're making a madad, your awliya, your shaykhs are coming and dressing all your faculties. They dress your ears with their qudra, they dress your eyes with their qudra, they dress your hands with their power, they dress your feet. They're completely like a khirka. For us to understand, the shaykh comes and gives a jubbah of light upon that servant, a gift from what Allah gave to them. When Allah describes describe the bounty that I have given, and awliyAllah come and dress from that dress, and awliya upon awliya are dressing from the grand shaykhs, all of them coming and giving dresses of light and dresses of light. Because whatever God is giving to them, whatever Allah is giving to them, these are the generous servants of the Divine. They're not taking it and hoarding it up there. How much when you love Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and saying, I'm Naqshbandi Siddiqiyun, Siddiq al-Mutlaq, how much Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is giving us of dresses? He's keeping it for what? To do what with it? Whatever Allah is giving to them, as soon as we gather under His blessed name, He's dressing us and blessing us, giving us khirka after khirka. Every association you're receiving dresses of light and medallions and can't even describe it with words. Means that by the hand. Then the hadith opens the reality of the hand. If they're dressing your hearing, dressing your seeing, dressing your hands, then they begin to dress your feet and inspire on your feet, that these feet of yours keep a life in which you're continuously observing your feet. Because your eyes are your desires. When you watch your desires, you watch your feet. Means you keep looking at my feet and say, Ya Rabbi, please inspire my feet to always be praying, that my feet to be going to the majlis of zikrs and meditation, that my nazar, my desire should be matching, that let my desire always to watch my feet. Because if the desire for world becomes so great and you lose sight of your feet, in an instant you find yourself in the wrong place. That how did I end up here, Ya Rabbi? How my life ended up in these types of situations. So means then they begin to teach, nazar bar qadam, keep continuously your nazar and your focus on your feet. That, Ya Rabbi, the rizq you open for me in the way of La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. Whatever you open for me, whatever you do for me, Ya Rabbi, let these feet always be in the way of Sayyidina Muhammad, that you be happy. But qadama haqq, qadama Sayyidina Muhammad, qadama as-Siddiq for awliyAllah, and then we are all muqaddam. muqaddam, the people who are trying to follow the steps of these pious people. So it means everything is this holy hadith. By accompanying them, they're dressing your ears, dressing your eyes, dressing your hands, dressing your feet. If all of that is dressed and Allah happy, then Allah describes, if you're achieving by accompanying them this reality, I'm going to be opening now for you lisan al-haq. Lisan al-haq means that your tongue is going to inherit from the tongue of Sayyidina Muhammad. Lisan al-Siddiq in Surah Al-Maryam, Lisan al-Siddiq al-Aliyah. The Most High Allah says, when we give an honour and a gift, the greatest gift is a gift of wisdom in which Allah bestowed upon that servant a tongue. He can't bestow upon a tongue unless the ears are working and the eyes are working, the hands are working, the feet are working, the last of which Allah unlocked the tongue. Because now your tongue, it speaks truth. It speaks from our Divinely Presence. You're like a mobile phone for us. We hear through you, we see through you, we can speak through you, we can broadcast the video. Whatever you're seeing, we are seeing it. Means you're broadcasting like a video. Wherever you move, our hand upon your hand, wherever your feet move, our feet upon your feet. So much so now you are Rabbaniyun. At that time those awliyAllah, they lifted the servant to be Rabbaniyun. They are lofty and lordly souls. They learned the kitab and they taught the kitab. And so much so that what they want becomes kun fayakun. Why? Because all their faculties are in submission to Allah. What they want is what Allah wants. What Allah wants, kun fayakun, is going to be happening. Nobody can delay what Allah wants. Nobody can postpone what Allah wants. So it means the heart is matching that heart, matching that Divinely reality, matching the reality of Prophet, matching the reality of awliyAllah, and then that heart becomes kun fayakun. Whatever it requests, Allah already wanted that. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammadan Mustafa wa bi sirri Surat al-Fatiha.
سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي